became a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the luck. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. There you are. Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones. I'm losing it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Taking Over. I am All That Ed Fries, and I'm joined by the one and only, the natural Astridpizarro. Astrid, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are you?
That was a banger episode of NXT. They've had a couple near misses, but they finally found a way to make the main event feel like a main event.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been better out of PLE, but still just nice to see like that being the main event of the show and him winning the title like that.
Yeah, I think there are definitely improvements that I would make to that episode. I would have given the main event about 20 more minutes. In all actuality, I think Baron Corbin versus Lexis King could have been on next week's show. I
that's
would have
true.
main evented with at least a 35 minute match. I feel like it does a disservice to both Trick Williams and to Ilja Dragunov having that match take what feels like 15 minutes
Yeah.
when it should
Well,
have
it
been at
feels less
least
than that.
30.
Yeah.
Our friend Shay Sawyer put it well. Ilya's going to start overselling now. He's been through worse than this.
Yeah. Very accurate.
But that doesn't matter because Trick whooped that trick and became the NXT champion. Good for him. I'm proud of him.
Yeah. About
It's been a
time.
long time coming that we've been sitting here waiting for the day that we can call Trick Williams the NXT champion.
Very much so.
I thought we were going to be doing it at Vengeance Day. I really did. I thought we were going to be doing it at Stand and Deliver, but they didn't put the title on him. Because they didn't even put the title on Mello, which is what they should have done. I go back to it. The storyline would have been better if Trick would have won the title at Vengeance Day, or if Mello would have beaten Ilja in between Vengeance Day and Stand and Deliver, and then Trick takes the title off of Mello at Stand and Deliver.
Yep.
And then you have Ilja have this one last shot. But that's not the way they went. And they decided to go with copious amounts of cameos.
Yes.
Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce, a video package full of people talking about the match. On the show, we saw the New Catch Republic. We saw the Creeds. We saw Ivy Nile. We saw Johnny Gargano. We saw Damian Priest.
Yes.
We saw a shit ton of people. JD McDonough.
Yep.
Like, everybody was here tonight.
It's like anybody that is in Florida, head down to NXT.
If y'all are still in the area, we could really use any of you that we could at NXT. Like, I'm surprised Cody didn't stop by just for the hell of it.
That's true.
He wanted to talk to Trick about finishing Trick's story.
Yes.
We can poke fun at Cody now. It's been long enough. We can start poking fun at Cody.
Yeah.
What, he has to be able to defend the title first before we can start poking fun at him?
No. No making fun at all.
The show starts with Ava talking to Adam Pearce and via satellite, Nick Aldis. Thanks, Nick. You couldn't just show up to NXT. Come on. You couldn't just make the drive to NXT. You had to do via satellite.
He's enjoying his
NXT
wife. Let him be.
Raw talent from last night's Raw, and fucking Nick Aldis can't make the 1 day trip to like, come on. Nick don't gotta work till Friday.
Yeah, it is what it is.
The end of a long day. He just had Raw last night. He had to put up with Becky Lynch having his women's championship again.
Yes.
I mean, yes. Boo Becky Lynch. I boo Becky Lynch all the time. It's not like that's a new thing for me.
I know it's not.
Just wanted something new. I actually think Becky's probably the best other alternative if you're not going to give it to somebody new like a Shayna Baszler or Zoe Stark. So if you weren't going to do that, I think Becky was the best alternative. The worst thing they could have done was put it on Liv last night. That would have been the worst mistake. Liv should win this title, but she shouldn't have won it last night.
Mm-hmm.
Liv needs to have that moment in a big match where she actually pins somebody.
Not only that, but after the way it went with Bianca and Becky, I have a feeling that Becky will be like, I win this one and I'll give you the bigger one in the stage later on. And I think that's what's going to happen.
We have video bro Bobby Munson stopping by. Good evening, Bobby.
Oh, Barry.
Oh, Barry Munson.
Barry.
So Barry, we need you to sit down. We have some bad news for you.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Barry, unfortunately, Von Wagner has been released. Now, I know. Hold your cheers. It's okay. You'll make it through. But unfortunately, Von's no longer on the NXT roster. He's not on any WWE roster. And again, with the releases, with Xia Li, with Indus Sher, with Jinder Mahal, with Von Wagner, with Cameron Grimes today. Yeah. We wish them all the best in their endeavors. Releases suck. Some of them seem more plausible than others. But at the same time, we don't want to sit here and talk, positively about anybody losing their job, no matter how much we like or dislike them. Same thing when we talked about Dana Brooke. Same thing when we talked about Ilja. As much as we may not think they have talent, I don't want them to be jobless. And thankfully, at least that's how Dana Brooke has found employment. I mean, I feel bad for Barry having to watch her on TNA now, but I mean, at least she has employment. No, crying. No, he's going to end up on MLW probably. Yes, he is going to end up on MLW. Stop spreading misinformation. It's all lies, damn it. All lies. Damn you. Damn you all. Perez also says that Liv needs to learn to wrestle first. Liv has gotten so much better from the silly, stupid, punk girl gimmick that she had. Not even in the Riot Squad. I'm talking about way, way back with the rap girl with the shorts and the backwards hat. You know what I'm talking about. NXT Liv way back in the day.
That's the local one against, is it Carmella? I think it was, or Eva Marie. I forgot.
Yeah, she was way back then. She's come a long way. I like Liv. I think Liv has a lot of talent. I think Liv has a future. But there was no way she needed to win that title last night.
No, she'll get a bigger
We're going to move on to, so we have Ava, Aldis, and Pierce talking about the draft, talking about where people, yes, Jersey Liv. Oh, the days of old Jersey. I'm not looking forward to covering Jersey Liv on Talking Takeover.
Shoot, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cover that.
Yeah.
Barry Monkey says Sanga's the one I want to see in NXT. He's really good and was badly used. I agree. I think Sanga and Jinder. I think Jinder is going. Again, I've pitched just like everybody else on the internet. In 80 some odd days, Hook wins back his FTW championship and does an open challenge. And out come the Bollywood boys and they attack Hook. And then people come out to attack them. And then Indus Sher comes out and attacks them. And then Jinder shows up. And Jinder pins Hook to become the FTW champion. And I promise you, it'll be more prestigious than the current FTW champion, Oops, we won't mention in that
No,
vortex.
don't remind me.
Jinder is more than welcome in MLW. Jinder's a wonderful Canadian. He is absolutely welcome in MLW. I don't think he's headed to MLW, but he's welcome there, says Bobby. Jinder to GCW? I don't want anybody to go to GCW. I'm not a GCW guy. I'll be honest. I think that thing's garbage. But keep on Wagner and the garbage pail kids away from my wrestling, damn it. Bobby is very salty about the WTF having to drop the tag team titles and now having the old Japanese dudes take on the second year crew. It's just the worst possible choice for a tag team match. But we're not talking about W, we're talking NXT. What did you think of Ava Pearson and all this talking the draft? And how Ava says that come 2 weeks from now, NXT is starting again.
It feels weird to think about it because to me, I always say it. To me, it's always like NXT goes by seasons, and it's kind of like that. That's just kind of like a new season. If you think about it, when we get the talent that goes up to the main roster, they debut more and more newer talent, and the ones that are here step up a little bit more to fill in those gaps from the people that left to the main roster. So it's gonna feel strange going through another season now as well, and to see who's involved in going to the main roster now.
Yeah, I have a feeling NXT is going to get rated pretty hardcore this year for the first time in a long time. Then we cut to the ring. No entrances. No nothing. Oh, by the way, anyone says I'm not going to criticize Ava tonight, so I'll go silent, guys. No entrances. All three ladies already in the ring. Jobber entrance for all three of them. The NXT Women's Championship triple threat match. Astrid, what did you think of this match?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was gonna be more like, I know that Lyra and Tatum are not teaming up the way, for example, comparing it to Toxic Attraction with Roxanne. Like, it kind of reminded me of that match a little bit, even though they're not teaming up with each other. But it kind of gave me similar vibes to that. But I feel like they did very well, and I like how there was no break in between there. There was always something happening in the ring with all three girls getting involved. There was rarely a time there was only two of them in the ring. So I like how they used that very well, of like barely taking any breaks in between there. One of my favorite parts though is that when Roxanne has a crossface on Lyra and then Tatum does it to her, I think that was super cool. And obviously the ending as well. I think the ending was creative because I having that 450 splash from Tatum, the reaction from the crowd was amazing. It was better than I thought it was gonna be. And seeing how close she was is like, I thought, are they really gonna do it? Because that would have been a huge surprise in a good way to start the show with Roxanne losing and then having Tatum of all people who probably we don't expect to be champion, like that would have been a surprise for this to begin with.
Yeah, it also would have been a nice big fuck you to Dave Meltzer to have both Tatum, Paxley, and Trick Williams holding the NXT titles at the end of this night. After all the drama that Dave stirred up by saying that Tatum and Trick can't wrestle and all that trash. No, I like how the crowd was solidly behind, of all people, Tatum, Paxley in this match. Barry says it really good though. It was a decent enough match. There wasn't really anything special other than the 450, which I've never seen Tatum do before.
No, it looked better than any Lyra splashes.
Yes, but anybody can do splashes better than Lyra can. But no, I thought Tatum had everybody. Oh, Jose, thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Appreciate it. Hello, welcome Raiders. Jose rating us after his Tekken stream. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching Jose play some Tekken. Yeah, I really enjoyed the triple threat. I was very unhappy that Roxanne held on to this title. I would have liked either of the other two people to have won this title. Either person would have been better than having Roxanne win again. I guarantee if she doesn't go up, I'm really going to be surprised because I don't know what else the fuck you do with her if she stays. I understand Julia's coming. You have other people that you can feed Julia. You don't have to feed Roxanne.
I think it's interesting though, because if you notice through the match though, most of the time was Roxanne acting kind of desperate of not losing the championship and doing basically anything and pinning whoever she could, and you can tell she was frustrated from like the get-go of like, I can't pin them. I was like, it's early in the match, like take your time with them. But she was like, I'm gonna hit one, I'm gonna hit the other one, I'm gonna pin one, pin the other one. It was like she had like that whole back and forth between both of them because she was so desperate to keep that championship. But there was that moment when she was out for a little bit too long, and I was thinking, this is it. And then I didn't see her. I was like, okay, I guess not. And then the 450 happens. Like, okay, yeah, she's back.
Yep. And she snuck in and stole the pin.
Yes.
Although apparently Booker does not think that was stealing the pin. Apparently Booker thinks that's perfectly okay. And while it's legal in the match, she stole the pin. But Roxanne retains. We then get all the women in the locker room sitting there talking while 3 of them are standing slightly forward. So we have the 3 that we need to pay attention to while everybody else is in the background. Kalani, Fallon, and Thea talk about the JC Jane issue and if she's patched things up with Andre Chase. By the way, I think it's a really bad idea on many reasons, but especially while talking about Thea Hale and Andre Chase, to take NXT to Las Vegas. Andre Chase was just getting over a gambling addiction. Duke Hudson used to be a cards dealer. We do not need to be taking Chase University to Las Vegas, to the UFC Apex, which
Maybe
they
we'll find new
mentioned
funding.
and over and over again.
Oh, maybe he'll pick back JC the calendars if he does it.
Yeah. Thankfully, we don't have to hear about these 3 for very long because Jaida stands up. He starts talking some trash to Fallon Henley, which of course leads to the girls brawling. Now, mind you, nobody got slapped because Roxanne Perez was nowhere to be found. It was just a good old-fashioned brawl as opposed to one person getting slapped randomly by one member of the roster. And of course, it sets up a match for later tonight. We get the entrance of the family. So within my notes, I put, the match is going to be the family versus the Candy Crew. But no, we get not 1, but 2 segments before we get that when we come back from the commercial break. First, we get a video package for Tyson DuPont and Tariq something. I didn't hear his last name. But we have Tariq and Tyson DuPont making their debut next week. They are essentially a bigger version, if you can believe that, of OTM. This is the beefier man version of OTM. Not quite as gangster, more straight-laced, more blue collar, but 2 big...
So we go OTM, Tyson and Tariq, and then AOP? Is that how it goes?
And then Oba.
No, I'm going by teams, though.
Oh. Oba's bigger than all of the teams, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yes.
After that, we get Ivy Nile and the Creeds backstage, which made Astrid's night as she leaned in very close to watch the newly engaged Julius Creed
married
going
for sure,
having a chat with his brother. And they all seem to, at the end of the day, go ahead and support Trick Williams. It took Brutus a while to get onto that. I think he wanted to support Ilja Dragunov and then came around because reasons.
Peer pressure.
And then they all start singing the song, and Brutus took on the Booker T version. And the whitest Booker T version yet, and that includes the one done by Bad News Barrett.
Yeah.
Finally, we get to the match. And the match is really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. It was a great 6-man TV match. Again, it didn't do anything crazy or outstanding, but it did good. It was a quality 10-minute or so TV match. It's hard to tell how long these things were because we had picture-in-picture ad breaks all fucking night. And while I understand the AEW crowd really likes to have these picture-in-picture ad breaks, I'd prefer to not have them so that I can structure my notes to talk about how many ad breaks there are. Because when we have picture-in-picture, I forget that it's an ad break.
Yep.
So I don't take note of how many ad breaks there are, which is how I tend to talk about how long a wrestling match is. I feel like it took 1 ad break during the match. Barry says that the Creeds have been practicing their promos. They did good. I thought the Creeds were really good on the mic. Ivy Nile was actually really, really good on the mic tonight.
Yeah.
She's vastly improved. The Barry Monkey was bored shitless by this match. I have no idea why I was supposed to care. Oh, the family. The D'Angelo family. Not this D'Angelo family, but the other D'Angelo.
Jeez.
I have to use the picture when I can. I agree with Barry. I don't know why I'm supposed to care. We have two heel teams fighting each other for reasons.
Yeah.
Apparently, the family killed Drew Gulak for the betterment of the wrestling business, as we were told last week, which is still really weird to say.
Yeah.
Like, I get that Drew Gulak may or may not have done some terrible things based on accusations from Ronda Rousey, but he's completely killed off, and there was some very strong language last week about this being for the betterment of the business.
Yeah. And then never used that kind of language with anybody before in NXT. That's the part that I'm like, it feels so strange. Like I still can't believe that was said on TV. Because it feels like something that would be said on like during an interview more than anything, but not during an NXT as it's happening. I'm definitely still not over it. But just like I was gonna say what Noah, it's like I don't know why I'm supposed to care, but to me, I guess the purpose is like you owe us 20, so instead of paying us, we're gonna beat you up. I guess it's just that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't.
but
I
again, the part about caring.
over very well.
Yeah, I was just say that's probably the reason why, obviously. But the reason for caring, I'm just like shrug emoji because I'm like I don't care. I'm like the only thing I would say about this match though is that I feel like Luca really had a showcasing in this match, and I really like that because we barely seen him wrestle, so it's nice to see him now part of the family, and he gets the spotlight during this match. That was my favorite part of this whole match as it was happening.
During the picture-in-picture, I really thoroughly enjoyed watching Baby Orton get a spotlight. I wish it would have been when the commentators were talking, but I like that on the other side. I thought it was really nice that Baby Orton got his spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, Tony D'Angelo goes ahead and hits the spine buster for the win on Charlie Dempsey, which means that apparently he's going to be taking on Charlie Dempsey for the Heritage Cup. Fine. That'll be all right. But again, it's just one of those things where it's like, a match can be the greatest match in North America, but if it doesn't have a reason and it doesn't have stakes, it means nothing. This wasn't that match, by the way. That match was Shade from Dynasty. I'll let you pick which match I'm talking about. We then go backstage again with Baron Corbin as he's being interviewed by apparently a WWE employee who wants to take photographs of him while asking him questions about the Braun Breaker exit, like post-show exit that we had a couple weeks ago. One, why were we using an actual camera picture as opposed to a video camera for this?
Yeah.
There are so many things I don't understand about this segment. Yeah. Then Lexis King comes walking in and hands Baron Corbin a going away package because Lexis King is happy to be getting rid of Baron Corbin, to which Corbin goes, I don't know what you've heard, but I'm not going anywhere, which makes me happy because I think that means he's going to stay and he's not going to get drafted. Please, please, please don't draft Baron Corbin.
I like how we did it at the same time.
And they keep going at it. Lexis calls him a wannabe king because Lexis is a king. And he walks away, and Corbin goes, man, that guy really is a douchebag. And that means something coming from me. All right. We then get Jaida Parker versus Fallon Henley, which starts in the commercial break, as Fallon Henley not only gets her entrance during the commercial break, but then they start the match there too. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. oh my god. I
was surprised. I thought I missed Fallon's entrance, and then the commercial happens, and I go, wait, I thought I only saw Jaida in the ring.
Yeah.
I,
Vic's
I don't
favorite
get it.
line for it is you won't miss a minute of the action as we go commercial free, picture in picture. And I'm like, yes, but we miss everything else about it when you do this entrance in picture in picture. That being said, Jaida Parker looked good. Fallon Henley looked good. This match was good. Except OTM was on the outside. OTM tried to cheat at one point and failed at hooking her leg.
Thank you. I saw that too.
I don't know if he wasn't supposed to. I don't know what the hell was supposed to happen there.
Yeah.
But he goes to hook her leg after she's run by. And I'm like, did he fuck it up? Was he not supposed to grab her? Like, what was... Oh, like, the girls were good. The girls had no entrances. Respectfully, all we need to do is see Jada's entrance. I agree. I think Jaida has a very unique and interesting look that is going to get traction with a certain portion of the community. However, moving away from what she looks like, her ring work is getting much better quicker than I expected. She's not solid, but she's good. She's getting better. There were a couple cells of hers that I wasn't too thrilled with, but overall, she's way further along than I ever thought she'd be at this point. With the minimal amount of time that we're seeing her on television in matches, she's come light years away. It's so weird to talk about Fallon Henley and go, she's main roster ready, but she is. They've not done enough with her in NXT, but I feel like her talent level and her ability to speak could put her on the main roster as like a bottom barrel main roster, like a Xia Li or a Tegan Knox, and just have her out reps with the girls. I think on the main roster would be impressive for her.
I was gonna say she kind of will remind me of that spot that Carmella and Alexa had when they got drafted, when they were able to talk and they got the spotlight and they were able to grow from there. Because even in NXT they didn't do much either, and even Fallon has done more in NXT than Alexa and Carmella did. So they kind of reminds you of that a little bit, but I think Fallon herself has more of an indie experience, a little bit more than most of the girls, so that you can see that in the ring there. So I would say she's one of the ones that has the most experience within that roster. But like you said, I keep thinking like I wish I would have done a little bit more with her. Like I know she was a one-time tag team champion, but I know she was probably not going to win the NXT Women's Championship. But like her winning the North American one, I think that would be nice for her. But again, it just like, is she going to get drafted or is she going to win the championship? I don't think we'll get both. So it's just a matter to see how it goes, whether what they decide to do with her. But I think plus she had that moment within the group where I feel like she was more popular than the guys. And I'm like, you should have taken that moment to give her a little something more and capitalize on that popularity that she had. Because she still has it, but it's just not a smash anymore.
Yeah, and you know, Noelle and Barry have some good points in here. Noelle saying she's progressing faster than the other girls, talking about Jaida Parker. I agree. Fallon is at least on Elektra Lopez levels. She's levels above Elektra Lopez.
Yep.
Like, I like Elektra. I think Elektra's bare minimum fine in the wrestling ring. Like, she's good enough that she can get a quality television match, but nothing more out of Elektra Lopez. Fallon Henley can at least give you pre-show. Like, Fallon Henley can at least give you pay-per-view pre-show or PLE pre-show. Barry Monkey says, I think he thought I'm supposed to be a heel. I better act heelish. I'll pretend to grab her leg. Yeah, it just felt weird. Like, it just felt weird. Jaida gets the win. I'm happy Jaida got the win. I can see Jaida hoisting up that NXT North American Women's Championship. And to be honest with you, depending how this draft goes, she might be the one that I'd put the title on anyways.
Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed too, when after she won, they kind of mentioned, Scripps had to like tell her to move her foot from under the rope so that way the pin could go through. And I was like, that not only did we get that part of like the almost cheating part, but then that on top of it, I was like, what's going on here within like the guys in this match and her? And it's like I feel like something was off in there in that aspect.
And Noelle clarifies that he's talking about star power with Fallon being at Elektra Lopez level, which makes more sense. Now the comment makes more sense. She's on the same star power level. Elektra has a raised star power level because she's with Legato, because she's with Santos, who is just fantastic. Adore Santos. That's Escobar. Things I didn't enjoy. JC Jane and Jasmine Nix talking directly to camera in some weird room with like a fake backdrop and her white tank top. Like, I have no clue what was going on here. She talks about how Thea's ungrateful, about all the things she gave to Thea, which made me start racking my brain as to figure out what the fuck JC Jane actually did for Thea Hale, other than give her confidence. Like, she didn't win a championship.
No.
She didn't come close to winning championships. The closest she came to winning a championship was before you were involved. Like, y'all didn't win the NXT Tag Team Women's Championships because those don't exist. Like,
I guess maybe JC will be the other one. Yeah.
Thankfully, we're going to get Thea Hale versus JC Jane next week, and hopefully that's JC Jane's swan song in NXT. Yes, okay. She did give her bad relationship. That is something
true.
she gave her, which Thea Hale is ungrateful for not thanking her for almost tanking her chances with Blair Davenport's fiance. Did you have any thoughts on JC Jane and Thea Hale?
No, just like I'm glad that the matches like will be that final match between both of them. We can finally move on from this to these.
We say final. We don't know if it's going to be final. We hope it's final.
Make it final with, all in caps. Final.
Just like the final match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
Final.
Speaking of things I don't want to watch, we had a video package talking about the Ladies Underground match. Oh, that video package was a tough watch. Man, did they have to really stretch to try to find footage for this shit.
But I would say Lola's voiceover was the best I've heard of her, like promo-wise, if that makes sense. Because I feel
yes, because you were able to cut it
I know. But again, it just like the way they did it, however times it took for them to do this, I really enjoyed how she sounded because she sounded the most confident I heard her sound before. And she sounded genuine for the first time. That's the only part I enjoy from this whole thing. Her voice, because it sounded so much better. That's it.
Probably also better that we didn't have to look at her while she was talking. One of the things I took from this video package is Lola Vice saying that Natalya's silly for going ahead and continuing to wrestle on the European tour and to work Raw and everything else while she should be training. And I'm like, what the fuck do you think wrestling is? Like, Lola, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh God, there's so much wrong with this. JD McDonough is backstage, and he says that Ilja's going to win because you have to put Ilja in the hospital to be able to beat him. And he put him in the hospital, and he still didn't get the job done. All right, that's fine. Then Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate show up, and Pete Dunne says very plainly that Ilja's going to win. And Tyler Bate tries to convince him that Trick Williams is going to win. And Pete Dunne just walks away. Oh, Pete Dunne's not changed any. It is nice, though, that I can call him Pete Dunne again, as opposed to having to call him Butch.
Yeah, agreed.
We then get to the train wreck segment of the night. The Ladies Underground contract signing. Now, I think the match is going to be fine. I honestly do. I think the match will be okay. However, they had each person individually sign the contract without the other person there. Like, they brought down Natalya with Carmen Petrovic or Izzy Dame. I don't know which one it is. It doesn't matter. Apparently, it's Carmen Petrovic. Yes. Because she's another Canadian. I
Yes.
really thought she was Russian. I thought we were supposed to believe she's Russian, but apparently she's Canadian.
It's not the first
Sure.
time they say it.
They did say it though tonight, right? That Carmen's another Canadian, and I was like,
Yeah, they said it
"Excuse
when Natty was on the way to the ring. They said the Canadian connection or something like that. But it's not the first time they say it, though.
Noel says the best segment, and I have a feeling he's taken after Barry Monkey with this one. They may have enjoyed this. Like I honestly, I can't. I don't know. They took the rope back for the contract signing. I agree. I think it was solely so that they could throw Lola Vice through where the ropes would have been onto that group of people. But why do so much work for the people who have to do this? Like, that was one of the things that I didn't like about this segment was that they had no ropes for it. But then Natalya just comes down and signs the contract. And then they introduce Lola Vice. And she shakes her ass on the way to the ring. And then she signs the contract. And I'm like, cool, it's over, it's done. We don't have to keep doing this anymore. No, then they let them talk. Why did they think they needed to let these two talk? I love Natalya. I think Natalya is great. However, the one thing I wouldn't do with Natalya is let her near a microphone.
Agreed.
But they decide to let them both have microphones, and Lola Vice gets a really cool line out.
Right?
I may shake my ass all the time, but that don't mean I can't kick yours. Which was really good.
Mhm.
I was proud of her for that line. Natalya tried to speak over her. She shut Natalya down. I was like, wait a minute. This might be okay. And then Natalya started to talk. And Natalya started to talk about what it means to be a heart. Being trained in the dungeon. By the way, nobody who watches NXT probably remembers what the Heart Dungeon is. Because those fans are me and Bobby's age. Oh, actually, that's NXT's prime audience. Never mind. We know exactly what the Heart Dungeon is. She talks about how she respects the fans and she respects the people in the locker room and she respects wrestling's past and wrestling's present. But if Lola Vice is going to be wrestling's future, she's going to slap some respect into her. Oh. It was at this moment that I realized Lola Vice is winning this. Yep. This was the moment. It wasn't the next thing that happened. It was this that did it.
Did
When
you really think
Natalya
that he was going to
said
win
that-
this?
When Natalya said that, I realized Lola Vice was winning this match. And it made me a very sad camper. And then I was a very confused camper because we then got Natalya basically berating Lola Vice to tell her who's training her for this match. And they announce who's training her, and it's Shayna Baszler. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Why? Like, I get that Shayna's an MMA wrestler. I get that Shayna's the only one who makes sense. But on what reason on God's green earth is Shayna Baszler going to come help Lola Vice?
There you go. I was thinking the same thing. Why?
Is this to get to Natalya because they bring up that they're former partners? Like, what the fuck? Like, I know that there's nobody that anybody would recognize to put with Lola Vice that would make sense here. Like, I know she's apparently reportedly no longer with AEW, but like Paige Van Zant would have made sense because at least then it wouldn't be somebody who's tied to Natalya. Yeah, she's sticking to Natalya. There's a problem. Why? Why does Shayna Baszler have any reason to stick it to Natalya?
Yeah, unless Lola's paying her.
NXT. What does Shayna care if Natalya goes to NXT? Like, I don't get it.
I did like the part. She's like, oh, calling herself the baddest woman. And I was like, there you go. After beating Ronda, you do get that title. But aside from that, it's like, I kept thinking the same thing. It's like, why is Shayna connected to this? Like, I wouldn't care. Natty's it's getting helped by Carmen. I wouldn't help Lola.
Like, what the hell? And by the way, bringing Shayna Baszler is it brings to a problem that they're going to suffer with next week. I'd much rather see this match between Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Like, if the whole point is to stick it to Natalya, why isn't Shayna the one wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
To go back to other points, why take the ropes down to give the visual? I understand the visual. Nobody cares about the visual. It's NXT Underground. Nobody cares. Why don't they? Did they let women talk? I can't believe you said that, man. We agree, but we can't say it. No. Women are allowed to talk. They're perfectly fine to talk. Just give me ones that can cut a promo.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with women cutting promos. Becky Lynch. I don't like Becky Lynch whatsoever. But you want to know what was really interesting? When they gave her the microphone and she got to walk to the ring, talking the whole way to the ring, stopping and giving a pep talk to Maxine Dupree. That was dope. Why? Because Becky Lynch can cut a promo.
Not only that, but that's a sticker of Kevin Dunn because he didn't like her accent either. That's another thing. So,
like I said, women get the ability to cut promos. I just want women to cut promos who can actually cut promos.
Yeah.
Like,
makes sense.
A brawl ensues. They throw Lola Vice through what would be the ropes onto a bunch of people who I don't think knew Lola Vice was coming because they really didn't look like they liked being thrown down to the ground. That was a train wreck of a segment. God, I cannot wait for that match next week. By the way, that's main eventing the show next week. I guarantee it. They always main event with the NXT Underground because they have to pull the ropes down. Mind you, they might not because they put the ropes back up for the rest of the night. So
I was about to say they put them back for tonight.
The Underground, it's always been the last thing on the show.
Oh no.
Speaking of people who can't cut a promo, Ridge Holland talks. I didn't care what he had to say. I only actually gave a damn for this promo when Shawn Spears showed up.
Bingo.
Story of Ridge's life. I only care what he's doing when Ridge Holland is there. Sorry, I only care about what Ridge Holland is doing when Shawn Spears is there. I never care about what Ridge Holland is doing when Ridge Holland is there.
No.
Ridge tells Spears to leave him alone. Spears basically tells him to embrace the hate. Like, he says a lot of other things, but essentially this is 2011, I think it again, and it's John Cena versus Kane. And Kane just pushed Zack Ryder off the fucking stage. Like, am I wrong, or does it not feel exactly like what we're doing here? I like Shawn Spears. Why couldn't they have picked anybody else who's actually entertaining in the back?
And I hate to say it, it's just like, and I like Spears, but pairing him with Rich is not going to make me care about Rich. So what's the point?
Think about how cool this would be if we were trying to bring back the badass out of Baron Corbin. If Spears were trying to bring the badass out of Baron Corbin, not bring back the lone wolf, but have that same fire and feel as the lone wolf, that would be interesting because Baron can talk. But Ridge is so fucking stilted. But who knows? Maybe this will get better. It won't, but maybe it will. Speaking of guys who can talk, the Final Testament gets a video package. This was really cool. I really enjoyed this. They're apparently staying on NXT. I'm okay with that.
I don't care much for them, though.
Two-time NXT champion, which I completely forgot he won it twice.
I did too. Well, he said I won. Since when?
I'm like, you won it once, yes. And then I'm like, yeah, you got hurt and you won it again. Yeah, you did win it twice.
I forgot.
I did forget. Hearing Paul Ellering talk for the AOP again was really cool. talking about how they're going to take all the titles. And then the AOP guys actually cut a promo on Nathan and on Naxium, which was really good. And then Scarlett finished it off looking like Scarlett does. I think she said something. Her mouth moved, but I wasn't paying attention.
Poor thing.
We'd already had enough good stuff. We didn't need Scarlett to talk. She's fine. She can just stand there.
Yeah.
We literally got 4 other guys cutting promos in that segment. We did not need a 5th promo.
Yeah. The thing I don't know why with this group, there's something that I cannot connect with it, and I don't care for them really right now. I really don't. I don't know if maybe further down the road something would happen that would make me care more. But I don't know if because they're going against Naxium. I don't know what it is, but I right now even hearing them, I was like, okay, move on. I didn't care.
I think they're kind of cool. I like them as a. I don't understand why they're together. I don't understand how they work together. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, I'll buy into it. Creepy stuff. Cool, whatever.
I like the aesthetic though.
they work as an aesthetic. Like the
Yeah.
Final Testament work as a group. 2 big, huge, massive guys flanking a big, tall carrying cross with the hair the way they have it now. That all works. Scarlett, I prefer the blonde, but she's fine. She's really good as a brunette. Really, that's all she adds is looks. Like, she doesn't wrestle. Like, I can't talk about her work. We don't see her wrestle. I don't think she's ever actually wrestled a match on television for WWE. She's wrestled at house shows. I know that for a fact. I don't know if she's ever had a television match. Like,
you get
she
marking
got
down though.
at Mania.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something shocking. Carrying Cross is the first Puerto Rican I don't care for.
No, second.
No. First
Second.
one. No.
No.
First. No.
Logan
Logan's not
Paul.
Puerto Rican. No, we're not doing this.
Logan Paul is billed from Puerto Rico. He is Puerto Rican.
Yeah. Carrying Cross is Puerto Rican descent. There's a difference. Don't care for him though.
I agree with Noel. I like the parts, but not the sum. I can see that. Like I said, I'm more into Final Testament than most people are. I'm giving them more of a benefit of the doubt than most people do. But it's like I said, I like the people who are part of this group. I've always thought AOP was a really good act that just got shafted by Vince McMahon when they got brought up to the main roster. I thought them with Seth was going to be money. And somehow they that just fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest mistake was taking Paul Ellering away from them in the beginning. So I thought it was smart when they came back that they brought back Paul Ellering. I still think Karrion Kross is a star. Like, I know people disagree with me. I think there's a star underneath all the crap that they keep giving him, that there's a star for Karrion Kross. He proved it in NXT. The first time around, his gimmick was perfect, and they did what they needed to do with that character. I don't know why they couldn't do that again.
I just feel like it never picked up after he got released and returned. I feel like it never picked up the same.
Yeah, you got no more.
I don't know the word. Yeah.
Remember when he put the fucking hourglass down next to Roman Reigns when Drew McIntyre was shooting at Roman Reigns, and nothing ever happened with it because Drew McIntyre?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I liked him back then because they had a good, like, it kept me intrigued. I'm like, oh, why is he doing this? Who is he gonna go after next? And I feel like he got released and they both returned, and I feel like that momentum they had in NXT just never returned.
It's just, I feel bad for him. I want to like him. I want it to be good. And so I think I'm talking myself into it being good, regardless if it is or not.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? We'll see what happens. We then get Blair versus Sol Ruca. I'm going to say one thing, and then I'm going to let Astrid talk about the rest. The first half of this match, where it was all gimmicky, was shit.
Oh, yeah.
Then there was a second. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Nathan Fraser is British, and the script writers have him say, I could care less, and not I couldn't care less. No British person would say that, I could care less, as it doesn't make fucking sense. Only Americans say that. I'm outraged. I did forget at the end of the Final Testament promo, by the way, which ended with Black and Gold Never Dies, which I thought was really cool. Naxium is there talking trash and like, we're going to do this. And Malik Malik Blade is like, yeah, you guys can do this. And the whole locker room's like, yeah, screw the main roster talent coming down and trying to take our NXT titles. And then in comes the Good Brothers, like, yeah, screw those main roster teams trying to come take those tag titles. And I'm like, you guys are still fucking here? I thought you were gone when you didn't face Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker.
And isn't it funny how Wild is part of that group?
What?
Joaquin Wild's right beside Axiom.
Yeah, I don't know why he's there by him. I know why he's by himself because Raul.
Yeah, but it's still funny that he joined in on this shit.
Yeah, so weird.
Like, what?
Yeah, screw those main roster teams coming down and take your tag titles. You mean like you, Joaquin? Yes, like me.
It made me die even more because I was thinking Joaquin is joining in, and here comes the OC to interrupt and join in as well. I was like, I see you hiding in there.
And then Ingenuofe breaks a mirror, and I guess apparently he has 7 years bad luck.
Yikes.
Then we get into Blair versus Soul, and like I said, the beginning of this match before the commercial break, where it was all gimmicky, I thought was garbage. And then there was the second half of the match. And I'll talk about that after Ashley talks about what her thoughts on the match are.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Just like the parts of like them throwing them into the pool and throwing her the like little balls from the pool, and it's like things like that. It's like, eh. It just made me feel. It made me feel like kind of like the brown panty matches and the mud matches at the beginning. Just like I don't want to see this. I would have put more weapons around and stuff like that. Like the table spot was nice. I would have done a little bit more with that kind of thing rather than a pool. I'm like, I get why you're doing it because it's the spring break theme and so Ruca and the surfing thing. But aside from that, I could have done without this gimmick match. I would have done something else to it. Or like just adding, like I said, just do like the tables all around and maybe other weapons that look more realistic than a dang pool. That part I didn't enjoy. I think the part that I like the most is definitely that part when she just throws her over the table and the crowd reaction really like went up above and beyond for this part. And then obviously for the ending in itself. But yeah, the first half of the match, I was like, are we really doing this? Because I'm really not like enjoying this at all.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't love the first half of this. I really, really liked the second half of this when it started to turn into an actual wrestling match. We said it last week that the beach portion of this match was going to ruin this, and it did. However, the second half was really, really good. That soul snatcher without the corner. I've never seen her do that outside of the corner. I didn't even know she could. But she pulled off the soul snatcher on the middle portion of the ropes, like just right in front of commentary. And I was like, oh, good God. If she can do this like that, she can do this shit anywhere, and that's going to be dangerous. I mean, it felt Diva's era. Yes and no. Like, I thought it was childish more than it was Diva's era. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, the women are being, like, let down by this. It just felt like, really? Like, this is a fever pitch feud, and we're doing surfboards and beach balls and footballs and, like, party game. And I'm like, really? Like...
And I think another thing you can add to that is like we have somebody like Blair Davenport who's like so hard hitting. She's been attacking people from behind. Why would I put myself in this type of match? Yeah. And it's like if this is supposed to be the end of the rivalry, like even from Soul's perspective, I would have preferred a ladder match, a table, but something to like go above and beyond and attack her and kind of pay her back for the way she attacked me from behind, costing me a year of my career. A pool is not going to do that. It really isn't. So it's like I feel like they could have done a little bit more of like the gimmick, making it a little bit more violent to kind of give her like, so wants the revenge. Blair's a hard hitting person. She's gonna go after her somehow. And I just feel like these girls are above this gimmick, the gimmick in this particular match. When I say I didn't feel like it was going back to the Eva's era, but I just felt like it reminded me of the mud matches and just like things like that. I'm like, with the dang pull in the way, I don't like it. I really don't. It just feels stupid.
Barry Monkey hits the nail right on the head here. It was an awful, ridiculous match, and in no way was the wrestler's fault. Like, I think Blair and Soul did about as good as they could with this. Both of them are extremely talented. Both of them could be drafted. I think only Blair Davenport will get drafted. I think Soul stays, and I think right now, if I were to pick it right now, without seeing the match next week, Is it Soul versus Jaida for that title for the women's North American Championship?
I think so will
Like,
be a
I
good
think
one.
if I had to name 4 people who are going to win that title, I think it's Thea Hale, Kalani Jordan, Sol Ruca, and Jaida Parker. And Jada's the only real heel that I can see winning it.
Mhm.
Until Lola wins next week, and then we have to kick one of those baby faces out because they're pushing Lola, and God forbid they're pushing Lola.
Yeah.
Trick was on the phone with his mom. This was really sweet.
Mm.
And then Johnny Gargano comes in, Mr. NXT, to give him a pep talk. No pressure, no diamonds. Take all the losses, take the betrayal, take all of the pain and use it. Use it as a weapon. This isn't a hindrance, it's a weapon. Use it to go out there, and if you're willing to give it your all, you can beat the Mad Dragon. He talks about beating Adam Cole for his first NXT championship and how he had to give it his all. And if Trick is willing to do that at the end of the day, Trick's going to be a winner. And I was like, oh, Johnny Gargano coming back to, babyface Johnny Gargano talking to Trick Williams. It felt right. It hit me right in the nostalgia bit.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Noel Taken going back to the pushing of Lola Vice, as they should. Oh, goodness.
Wow.
What did you think of this segment?
Oh, I love this so much. I'm just thinking of like somebody like Johnny is one of the perfect people to give this kind of pep talk to Trick. And it's gonna be such dad vibes. I just enjoyed it so much. I was not expecting anybody to like really come out. I was just expecting like for him to end the call with like the mom saying "whoop that Trick" and it was done. So when Johnny came out, I was like, "Oh my gosh, my feels!" But it just felt so amazing. I feel like they did very well tonight with the presence of the veterans and anybody who moved on to the main roster and adding more to like promote the match not only between social media posts but like the people that were there tonight. I feel like they did very well with it because it makes the match seem even more important than it already is, and it feels like it's not often that you see this happening. So I really enjoy that part of it.
Yeah. We then get Baron Corbin versus Lexis King. Lexis King kicks him in the dick and gets the win. Is there really anything else we need to talk about?
No thanks.
The NXT vets all come down through the crowd and get into their seats in the crowd, which I thought was really cool that they were sitting in the crowd. Like, how cool would it be to be at this show and then all of a sudden have the Creeds come and sit next to you? Ivy Nile come sit next to you. Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate.
I would have been able to concentrate.
Johnny Gargano comes sits front row on the hard side, so you can see him. They then get last thoughts from Ilja Dragunov, and he gives his last thoughts, and he tells them that he's going to be unbreakable. And then Damian Priest comes popping into the shot and just goes, "Good luck, champ," and just stares at the title. I'm like, Damian, you have a championship. You don't need to leer at these champions anymore. You have your gold. You're done.
I feel like it's a good preview. Dragunov comes up.
Oh, Dragunov versus Damian Priest. Sign me up.
I feel like that was a good tease. So.
And then Trick Williams gives his last thoughts to Byron Saxton. They had all 3 of them there. They had Kelly Kincaid, they had Sarah Schreiber, and Byron Saxton all backstage tonight.
I'm telling you, they made it a bigger importance than it usually is. And if it wasn't because of like the length of the match, it just gave you that feels of like tonight's very important. Watch out because we're putting out so many people we're bringing people down to join us for tonight.
Yeah, and then let's just get into it. The match, the NXT Championship match. Astrid, what'd you think?
It's like I feel like just when it was getting to like the height of it, it ended, and I definitely agree. Like you said earlier, it's like I feel like I would have used more time with it because it would have been better to me watching it when they're at the point that they're like almost exhausted, and you're like you don't know who's gonna win, and all of a sudden Trick comes out and gets that boost from the crowd. Because one thing that I enjoyed from the beginning of the match is like they were always there was a lot of chance for Trick from like so many different ones. It wasn't usually the whoop that Trick. There was so many different ones there. And there was a point that at the beginning when they like hug each other and everything, like the crowd is silent. But after that, the crowd is always like nobody's clapping, they're just chanting, but just like staring at what's happening. And they had, like, you think they had the crowd's attention in this sort of way, was just incredible to think about. But I would have definitely added more time to it, just to make it like, at that point of, you're like, they're desperate, you don't know who's going to win this match, and then all of a sudden Trick wins it. And I like him doing the torpedo Moscow. I think that was pretty cool for him to do there too.
He did the H-bomb, he did the torpedo Moscow.
Yeah, it was like, I'm winning with your moves. That's what that message is very loud and clear. But I enjoyed it. I feel like I definitely needed more time to develop. I feel like it wasn't developed enough.
Yeah, this match was everything it needed to be, except 10 minutes short. It was 10 minutes shorter than I really think it could. I think it could have gotten 10 more minutes and been great. These guys killed it. Ilja's selling of Trick Williams kicking out of all his stuff is Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar levels of selling. The facial reactions that Dragunov was giving was fantastic. The rock bottom through the table off the ledge right in front of the creeds was really cool. And then the moment where they're both lining up for their big move, just like at Vengeance Day. And Trick goes ahead and hits it first this time, unlike what happened at Vengeance Day where Ilja hit it first. And having that be the finish, that was really cool, like, as a way to do it. Mm-hmm. Like, it tells the story of their rivalry. Yeah. And I think they did a very good job. They did a better job wrapping up Trick versus Ilja than they did wrapping up Trick versus Carmelo. Mm-hmm. Barry Monkey said, this is the best I've seen Trick wrestle. I agree. I don't know how much of this is Ilja Dragunov and how much isn't, but I'll be looking forward to see when Trick Williams walks into the Apex. And now that's the biggest reason why I'm sick of the Apex thing. I wanted to save it to now. You've just got the biggest babyface NXT's had in a long time with this championship, and you're going to the Apex, which holds from 100 to 1,000 people. You just sold supposedly 16,000 tickets on Mania weekend. I did the research. No NXT roadshow since last year when they went to Lowell has sold less than 3,000 seats. Why would you move off the Double or Nothing date? Like, I get Double or Nothing's a big deal. To have that on the same day as Double or Nothing might not have been a good idea. I still would have gone with it. I still would have had faith in my roster. I would have had faith in what we're doing to go ahead and have Trick sell tickets to put that on a real stage. We'll see how interesting the UFC Apex is. I've never seen it because I don't watch the UFC. So we'll see how interesting this building is. But I think it's a mistake. But we will see. And just a little while ago on Twitter, a certain somebody who wasn't on the show that I thought might be on the show tonight did post something. Carmelo Hayes posted this picture of him and Trick on Twitter a short while ago. I guess in a way congratulating Trick Williams on the big win. No words, no nothing, just the picture. I'm so happy for Trick Williams. I'll be honest, I got a little teary-eyed when Trick won. Just a little bit. Because I've been into Trick. I really thought he's been killing it. And the line from Vic that really sold it to me, from sidekick to champion in a little over a year. That's a hell of an accomplishment. And yes, Dave might be right that Trick Williams might not be the most talented in-ring wrestler yet. He's not. He's not. We can all gladly say he's not the best in-ring wrestler. What I will say is that there are very few people in wrestling that have the momentum behind them that Trick Williams does. From the company, from the fan base, from everybody. There are very few people who have the momentum that Trick has. And ironically, if I was going to tell you who the other one was, it's the other African-American that just won a world championship, and it's Swerve Scott. It's Isaiah Swerve Scott. I still call him Isaiah Swerve Scott. I can't not stop calling him that. Swerve Strickland. In the span of 3 days, we've crowned 2 new African American world champions. That's a great thing to have happen. Think about it. In the wrestling world right now, the world championship lineup for world championships in wrestling are Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Trick Williams, Mark Briscoe, Swerve Strickland, EC3, and Moose.
Yep.
Every promotion has at least one African American world champion. I don't think that's ever happened.
And I'm thinking about it too. Cody being half Latino, so it's like both world champions are Latino somehow too.
I keep seeing this Cody, like they're like, "Oh, Cody, how many races is Cody? Like how many?" Because I saw somebody saying
he's Cuban American.
Somebody saying he's half Latino. Like
no, the black part is a joke.
Oh,
he's Cuban American. Yeah,
okay.
And
Cody ended racism as well.
No, that was a joke.
I know the joke that Cody ended racism and all that. Like it's this weirdest thing with Cody that I constantly see these things.
No, so for those of you that don't know, Damien has Puerto Rican descent. He was born in the island, so if you don't know, that's like New Rican basically. And then Cody's Cuban American. So both our world champions are Latino somehow.
Okay.
There you go.
Nobody was more over with the crowd now that they've gotten rid of Von Wagner.
Oh, we didn't mention it, but Stone was a producer for one of the matches too. I think it was Jada's match.
Versus Fallon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jada versus Fallon. That was a Robert Stone produced match. Also, we should mention now that Von Wagner's gone, every client of Robert Stone, with the exception of Maxine Dupree, has been let go from this company. Maxine! Get what you can now, girl, because it's going to end soon. Yeah. Meanwhile, Chelsea was released and then brought back. So take that for what it's worth. Man, the curse of Robert Stone is real, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, Astrid, you just... Well, wow.
Yeah.
Astrid, you just did an interview with Miss Emily J. Can you set up the clip we're about to play?
Yeah, well, this was recorded a little bit about, I think, a couple of days before Mania weekend, so it's a little bit behind in that aspect. But I was able to sit down with the stunner Emily J. Really, really nice, fun chat. We definitely talk about being Swifties and wrestling and Thunder Rosa and so many other things. So it was nice to talk about her and her character and what she's been done. But yeah, I definitely wanted to ask her more about her experience of being in Mission Pro Wrestling with Thunder Rosa. Mission Pro Wrestling and with Thunder Rosa, how was that experience? Like, did you learn anything from her while you're being there?
That was an amazing opportunity, and I will be back very soon. But being able to be around people like Thunder and the family that Mission Pro has, like, it was an amazing experience. I got to be there with a couple of my friends, and I truly wouldn't have wanted to be there with anybody else but them.
Yeah, so there we go. And if you want to check out the full interview, go to bodyslam.net where you can go ahead and check that out. Asher, what do you got coming up this week?
I keep forgetting what week it is. At least Friday we'll be able to do the SmackDown watch along for the for the Rumble. For the draft. We figure we'll do a watch along and give us reactions as the draft is happening, being that SmackDown is the first night of it. So that should be fun. Look at that wonderful graphic that Ed made. Yay! It's pretty. I'm gonna feel bad for NXT at the end of it, but there we go. But yeah, like you mentioned, if you go to Body Sam's channel, there is my interview with Zeta Steele, and now that one with Emily J. And hopefully, we'll be working on some other ones pretty soon. So if you haven't, go back and check it out. Aside from that, my Twitter and Blue Sky is astridpizarro. Through Instagram is astridpizarro20, and everything else will be on my YouTube channel, which is astridpizarro. Just make sure to subscribe and click on that bell to be notified when I upload something new.
Yeah, and of course, you can find me on Twitter at edfries12584, on Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries2002. Tomorrow night, me and Andre C are going to be going ahead and talking all things episodes 6 and 7 of X-Men 97 on Marvel Talk. We are also going to be talking a little bit more if people have thoughts on it about the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer that dropped the other day. Astrid, have you seen it yet?
No. But
You know,
I need to watch your reaction too.
you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and do something crazy here. Hold on.
Oh, and if you haven't watched it, we did a review on Abigail last night with Josie from the Film Poser. So go back and watch it if you haven't. If you have seen Abigail, because we do spoilers on it. If you haven't though, then watch the movie and then watch the review. There you go. Yeah, I've seen like pictures of it, but I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
All right, Ash. Well, prepare. We're gonna do a little fun here.
I know. I feel like I'm gonna get it like you because I know you
We're gonna
remember
get
more
a
things than I
live-
do.
we're gonna get Ash's live reactions.
Oh gosh.
I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
Hi, Peanut. I'm gonna need you to come with me right now.
Look, lady, I'm not interested.
All right, well, I'm sort of on the tick, so upsy daisy. Here we go. Oh, whiskey dick of the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40.
You don't want this.
Unless you want to take a deep breath through your fucking forehead, I suggest you reconsider. I'm about to lose everything that I've ever cared about.
Not my fucking problem.
Is that what you said when your world went to shit?
Come again. This move let down his entire world.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go fuck yourself.
Life is a mystery.
I don't know anything about saving worlds, but you do.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero.
You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man. I am soaking wet right now.
Boys are so silly.
This is what I'm talking about. Big slow motion action sequence. Who knows if you live or die? Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Want to do some cocaine?
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
What about Bolivian marching powder?
They know all the slang terms. They have a list.
Even snowboarding?
Even disco dust.
White girl interrupter?
Even force bump.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes. But I can't.
And Barry asked the most important question: is Grado in it? It has his music. No, it has Baton. It is the third powerful women's artist that they had, because I forget who was in the first Deadpool movie that they had as a powerful women's artist, but then they had Celine Dion do the opening theme of the second one, and now they have Madonna for the third one. Movie looks fantastic. Ash, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
The feels. I like the Ant-Man part in there too. I noticed that at least.
Yeah,
No, it's always fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Make sure you check out me and Andre's review on that. It launched yesterday evening. You can go ahead and check that out. We talk a little bit more in depth about some of the stuff, and we'll definitely be talking about it again tomorrow. Ashley, your thoughts on allegedly Taylor?
Dazzle. I want to see that. Dazzling.
Yeah. Dazzler was the last line of the original versions of the Tortured Poets Department does have the last song ending with the word dazzle.
Yes.
Or dazzling, I believe, is the last word.
Yes.
So we will see that. But until next time, you can go ahead and catch us talking in the draft on Friday night. And then I'll be back Monday. I don't know with who, but I'll be back talking in the draft on Monday. So, well, you said you might not be able to make it Monday.
Oh, no, I thought you meant talking takeover. No, Monday, I don't know.
No, Monday is the draft.
Yes.
We might
I
do
keep
talking
forgetting.
takeover afterwards, but we're going to do the draft first.
Yeah.
Until then, we'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye.